What up, guys? I've got this question. Somebody put Scott, and I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna read this comment out here right out of the get go before I even get started. Scott put, "Bring on the invaluable wisdom. Know what I like about this channel. Might have less marketing dog and pony stuff about this channel, but at the end of the day, he has done what he has teaches, not theoretical, and that is 100% true. I have done it. This guy over here has done it. And that's what I like to bring on and give people that have actually done what they're saying that they're going to do. And so I'm Jason Guyman with King of Pressure Washing, Pressure Wash Help to pressurewashhelp.com. And we are going to talk about every door direct mail, like Josh put. And so we got a few people on here tonight. We got George. We already got 15 George up here. George Yost. We got F-Bomb. Off topic. How does a YouTuber who has 399,000 subscribers have 9.1 million views? Must have bought and paid for. I'm not going down that route. I'm going to say the YouTube gods have blessed him. Is the only thing I can say, because I know he hasn't done much, but that's not my point. So tonight I have somebody on that does marketing. He likes the marketing game. And he has, well, I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about a story. So tell me, who are you, where are you from, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, first, thanks for having me on, Jason. I appreciate it, man. I love teaching. I love this stuff. My name is Daniel Dixon. I have had multiple service businesses. I have a garage floor coating business. I have a carpet cleaning business. So I started both of them. I've lived in the trenches from day one to where they are today. And I also run a company called Service Moxie. They own them two products. One's called Syngym and Automate Motivate. Syngym is what we'll focus on today, and specifically every door direct mail. But that's a little bit about me. I'm based in Nashville, and really love being with you guys tonight.
So how did you get into the service business in the very beginning?
Yeah, great question, Jason. I started actually in the military right out of college, but my family had a carpet cleaning business all growing up. That's all I knew. And they were like, go to college, go to college, go to college. I went to college. I went in the military. I got a quote unquote good job in corporate America after that. And I just kept coming back to, man, like I was an entrepreneur. I wanted to start a business. I saw this opportunity, hated sitting at my desk 8 hours a day, looking at the clock. Can't wait to go home. And, I finally kind of took the leap and went that route.
Awesome. So what did you get your degree in?
I got my degree in engineering, and then I got a master's in business, and then I went into corporate consulting. So I was helping really big companies, and then I ended up consulting for kind of Syngym on the side, and then I came full time at Syngym, and at the same time started my carpet cleaning business, and then more recently started my garage floor coating business.
Gotcha. So because I always talk about marketing and some things. What are some things for marketing that you did in the carpet cleaning business? Because that is a business that is really cutthroat at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a brutal business. And I tell all the businesses when they start like this, if you don't have money to market, the very first thing you do is you got to get like what they call the guerrilla marketing, right? And so what we did is we cleaned or did jobs for free for people, or cost, or whatever you could get it for. Even if you lost money but just got a little bit out of it, you would do the job and you'd say, hey, I'll do it for this price, or I'll do my friends for free or family for free, in exchange for, I want you to post on your next door page. I want you to post on your Facebook page. I want you to put this yard sign out, and you just, you make it happen. And generally those posts could generate, 1 to 2 more jobs. And so then you do it with those posts. Hey, I saw you responded to, or you heard about us through this post. If you're willing to post today, I'll take $50 off your job. And then they post, right? And you kind of make it happen. You hustle. And that's how we started.
Gotcha. So EDDM is definitely a type of marketing. It is not probably the easiest type of marketing. So what is EDDM?
Yeah, great question. And if you don't mind me sharing the slides, Jason, I actually have a really good slide in here about that.
Okay.
But every door direct mail is really, let me scroll down here to that slide. Every door direct mail. So it was a product created by the US Post Office. And it's really cool because they give you a 50% discount on postage. And postage is the main cost of sending postcards. You can print them for, a couple cents. But the problem with it is it's a real pain in the butt to use. And what I mean by that is if you don't know what every door direct mail is, or maybe you've used it before, but there's a lot of different rules that you have to follow. And you have to mail to every address on a mail route. So you go on their website, you look up this mail route, and then you say, I want to mail to that mail route. Well, that route might have like 521 addresses on it. Well, guess what? After you print your cards and follow that very specific requirement, you have to actually bundle the cards like you see in that picture with a rubber band around them for every mail route you want to send to. So if you want to send 521 cards to that mail route, you got to go count 521 cards, put a rubber band around it, print out this every door direct mail form, fill it out according to the route you want to send to. Then you've got to drive to the post office and then drop off the cards, pay for it. And it's this fantastic program, but like the US Post Office has made it to where it's not very usable. And
But you missed a step too, because when you get to the post office, the postmaster will look at you like you've got 10 eyes and they do not like you. They do not want you. You are the
yeah,
worst thing in of their day. When you come in
right,
there with 3 routes of 1,500 cards, you are like the enemy. Like they
yes.
will act like they don't know what you're supposed to do with it. It is the worst thing ever. Is that about the truth with it?
But you're so on point. So actually, my carpet cleaning business, when we started, I'm like, I was getting these postcards in the mail before I knew about Every Door Direct Mail. I'm like, what is this thing? And I like looked up on their website. I'm like, oh, I started reading the requirements. That scared me to death. Then I went to the post office to try to figure it out. Yeah, they'll just be like, yeah, we don't know about that. Yeah, let me go talk to this person. Then you're like waiting in line. All these customers are like behind you are pissed off.
Oh,
And
I forgot. Most people that work at the post office are like 50 years old. They smoke a pack a day, and you are the worst thing that you came in the door that day.
yeah, so I ended up not even doing it. Like the whole process just totally scared me off.
Now I like this here because this is such a great comment right here, and I want to see how you want to answer this one here. Holy cow, the endless YouTube videos of marketing. Knocking on doors is the best way to get business. If you're not covered up with teardrop tattoos and the house is filthy, it is easy sell. What is your thoughts on that, Daniel? And I'm putting you on the spot really good and nice, real fast. So,
Yeah, there's tons of ways to market. And I think if it exists for a reason because people have been successful at it, right? And there's people that know how to do this and they're fantastic. I've got a really good buddy, Jared Skinner. He knows how to do this. He teaches a course on it. He's actually done this for companies that do 20-30 million a year, and this is how they build their business. It works if you're really good at it and you know what you're doing and you don't have teardrop tattoos, like they said. Not everyone's good at it. It's really uncomfortable for a lot of people. So it's not for everybody. I won't not, I've tried knocking on doors actually one day, got kicked out of the neighborhood. People like telling me they're going to call the cops because I woke up their sleeping kid. Like it just not for the faint of heart. It wasn't for me, but yeah, it can work for sure.
I love when people say there's only one way to get customers. And
Yeah.
that's one reason why I don't teach just one way to customers. That's why, and have I done stuff? Have I done EDDM? Yes, I've had EDDM. Did I have great success with it? I broke even with it pretty much, but I didn't do all the rules like we said. It's just like Facebook. Facebook is another one. I never had much luck with Facebook. I did a little bit, but I didn't. I was talking to Daniel, and he's had great success with Facebook.
Yeah.
And so there's many different ways to skin a cat. And, that's the thing that I love people when they want to be like, this is the only way to do it. And, there's more ways to do it. And it takes a lot of time to go door knocking. I'm not even a big fan of putting flyers on doors because that takes a lot of time to do it. Now, I always do my 5 arounds because I think it's worth my time for that. But at the end of the day, it takes a lot of times to go put door hangers out. That's one thing that, I can pay a high schooler to do it, but are they really even wanting to do it at the end of the day?
Yeah. And then how does your business look if you're paying a high schooler, and what's the image they're bringing? And yeah, are they just dumping them in the trash? It's tough, man. It is tough.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Jason, for the knowledge and advice. You're welcome. Big Rob, this might be a little bit putting the cart before the horse, but what is a percentage of respondents with EDDM?
Yeah, so this is going to vary widely, and I'm going to tell you why. It depends on what the postcard is, right? And that's every marketer. Oh, it depends. But I'm going to explain that a little bit. If you're selling swimming pools with every door direct mail, there's going to be a lot less people that are going to respond, to buy a swimming pool. It's $100,000. If you're selling window cleaning and you're doing EDDM and you're doing it right, your response rate is going to be a lot higher, because it's a lower average ticket and everybody has windows in their house, right? So it's just depends on what you're selling. It depends on the offer. People that are really successful with every door direct mail will even tell you it depends on the weather. It depends on the day of the week that it lands in the mailbox. I mean, there's a million factors. Was the card designed professionally? And I've got stuff here I can share about what should be on a postcard if you try to send a postcard. All of that stuff impacts it. The U.S. Post Office put out results. They do a huge survey with like 1 million, data points. So it's really good data. But they say on average it's a 4% response rate if you're doing EDDM correctly.
All right, we're going to jump back a step because Josh is asking, and we're going to answer his question here.
Yeah.
Sorry for sounding. There is no stupid question. The only stupid question is the question don't get asked. But what does EDDM stand for?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's every door direct mail. So that means you're hitting every mailbox on a mail route. So the way the post office works is what they do with every door direct mail is if you take a stack of cards bundled like you saw in that picture, and you have the right number for the right number of addresses on that mailman's route, they'll hand him the stack and he'll throw one in every mailbox.
And with that, he will also throw them at every apartment complex that is on that mail route, every trailer park that is on that mail route. And so that is one thing that we do have to look at and make sure that we have good mail routes. And that is a tool, I believe, that either you can get from the post office or is it through Melissa data that it will tell you basically who's in that mail route, how many apartments, how many of that kind of stuff. And even won't it give you their kind of yearly salary or what their work or the average house income?
Yeah, you can get that for free from the U.S. Post Office website. If you Google USPS Every Door Direct Mail Route Picker, you can enter an address or a zip code, and then you can highlight mail routes. It'll physically show them to you on a map or a table, and it'll display their demographic data, their average age, number of people in the house, and average annual income. And so you just want to choose those high income routes. It'll also show how many commercial addresses are on the route versus residential.
And this is a good tool, even if you're not doing EDDM and you're trying to find the neighborhoods that you want to start targeting. This is a good tool that you can go and find the 5 top neighborhoods or the 5 top areas that the mail routes. And now you can start targeting those areas for pressure washing. That might be where we're going to put our yard signs, or that might be where we're going to do the Facebook groups and get into those neighborhood groups, because we know that those are the high end areas. Obviously, we don't want to go down to the lower end areas because that's not where our customer is. We want to be premium pricing, premium stuff, and them are the people that will be able to afford it and not the people that can't afford it. And so this is really good information, so that way we can start targeting and knowing where our areas. For like me here in Cincinnati, I know that Union, Kentucky is better than Florence and Burlington and all those areas. And that's where I targeted. That's Triple Crown. In Cincinnati, I didn't target Cincinnati. I target Indian Hill up at, up into, if anybody knows where, but Indian Hill, Loveland, Mason, Westchester, because that's where all the money area is. Cincinnati is not my money area. Norwood was not my money area, but those areas, Anderson Township, and I kind of knew that, but I also found out because I did EDDM, and so that's where I was able to find a lot of that information at to be able to hammer down on that.
Yeah, Jason, if you want me to share, I can show that tool. It's
okay.
Totally up to you.
Let me pull you back up here. There you go.
Might as well, right? We're here teaching.
That's right.
Okay, so you'll just go to the USPS, Every Door Direct Mail, and there's a tool. You'll put in an address or a zip code, and this is real cool. Watch this. You can just hover over mail routes, and it'll tell you at the top of the map. You see there the route name, how many residential addresses. This one has 50 business addresses, so I wouldn't do that. How many total addresses? But you really want to look at that income. This average income on that route is $122,000. That's a good route. But watch, you come over. This one's 130, so that's even better. But you come over to this one, it's 52, right? So that route is going to be way different than this route right here, even though they're very close to each other.
Just a subdivision away from each other.
Yep. And so like Jason said, it's super important to really use this tool, and this is totally free.
That's crazy. 59,000. And that's even in Franklin, Tennessee, right outside of Nashville.
Yeah, look, 49,000, 35,000. And you come over here and it's 121,100,
So at the end of the day, what customers do we want? Do we want the ones that are in the 55,000 area, or do we want the ones in the $120,000 area, right? And you can see how this tool, this right here, just talking about this, could blow your business up, because now I need to work on this subdivision and not these subdivisions, and I need to put my signs over here versus not over here. And that was just a few streets away. It wasn't like really far away. That's just a block away or two, and that's how you can actually use this and grow your business to know where is your customer. Who do you want as your customers? I want the people that are in the $120,000 average. I don't want the ones in the $50,000 average. Right. Now, it's not to say that there's people in the 50,000 that are making 100,000, but as an average, that's where we are at. That's where we would be at.
Yeah.
Let me ban this dude here. We don't need boom. All right. So we talked a little bit about how to find the routes. Obviously that's important, whether we're doing EDDM or that. How often should we mail to somebody? And this is really important that a lot of people don't understand that, and this is one of those things too. The first time that you mail, do you know what the response rate is versus the second or third time? Do you have any of that data?
I don't have data numbers with you, but we'll use that 4% as an average as a response rate. The first time is going to be almost zero. The second time will be, close to zero. The third, fourth, fifth times, you're going to get 4, 5, 6%, and they'll average out to that 4. But everybody I've talked to, I've got customers that send 300,000 pieces of Every Door Direct Mail every year, and they do this. They know they have it down to a science. They know exactly what they're going to do. And they said, if you're not going to send it at least 3 to 5 times, then don't even send it once or twice. So you're just throwing your money away.
And how often do we need to send this? Is this something we need to send every 6-8 weeks, or every 4 to 6 weeks, or how often should we be targeting these mailers?
Yeah. A lot of these companies want to do it once a month. But I'll say you want to get your marketing touches in. So you want to send it, you get all those 3 to 5 or 7 times that you send it. You want to get all those during the season when they're buying. Okay. So a lot of companies do this counterintuitive, and this is where they lose money, is they market in the slow season because that's when they need work. But really, when do you pick apples off the apple tree? You pick them when they're ripe, right? When are people buying pressure washing? They're buying it when you're busy, because that's when everyone needs it, in the spring or in the summer, right? So you want to market when you're busy, and it's so counterintuitive, but that, like, your phone's already ringing, your schedule might be full, but that's when you market. That's when you grow That's when you're able to hire people. If you're out there throwing money away when no one's buying, it's like fishing when the fish aren't biting, right? It's like, doesn't make any sense. But if you throw out a hook without any bait and the fish are biting that day, like you might catch something without even doing anything right. So it makes a huge difference.
This is a good point here, because this is something that I fight all the time, and I see people that, you know, they a lot of times they're owner operators and they don't have a lot of time to go do the mailbox and send the EDM and stuff like that, and or they don't have time to do the signs when they get real busy, and they start focusing on being busy and not focusing on marketing. And that goes back to the whole roller coaster marketing. You know, you get real busy, you do a lot of marketing and you get real busy, and then you quit marketing and you do all the work, and then all your work goes down to nothing. And then we're like, oh my God, the business is going to die. I'm going to starve my family. The family's going to die. We don't have no kids, so I got to go back to marketing. And so we go back to marketing real hard, and then it drops off again. And this is where being consistency is a huge thing of doing it. And like Daniel said, you know, it's not about, you know, sending this stuff just at a certain time. You might do 3 to 4, you know, you might do every 3 weeks when you're in the springtime. You might do, you know, because we know that March, April, and May is our busy months. We also know June, it starts to slow down. We know that July, it puts the brakes on in August, because everybody's on vacation and they're spending all their money there, and they don't want to spend their money on cleaning their house. But then we also know that September's coming around, in September, October, and depending on where you're at, you can even get some November in, and then that would be the other time we would do this. And so that is a good point. One thing, when is the best time to put the EDDM in their mailbox?
Yeah, so you're talking about like days of the week, all that stuff. Yeah, you want this to ideally hit Friday, Saturday is going to be the best, because guess what? On Friday on spring, they come home from, you know, work, or Saturday spring, they feel like, hey, my wife's told me I got to pressure wash the deck or the driveway or whatever. And like, that's the last thing they want. So they have a problem in their head, right? And like that shows up in the mail. You're their solution. Hey, I'd rather pay this guy $200 to do my driveway than do it myself. And so they call you. So that's really good. And going back on the last topic a little bit real quick, Jason, is it's really important to acquire new customers when it's busy, in the busy season, like we talked about. And then in the slow season, you have a customer list. If you have a CRM or email list, then you can market to your existing customer list in the slow season, because they already know, like, and trust you, and you can offer them special deals. Hey, we have a winter special going on right now, and we're taking, you know, $30 off any project. Well, they already know you, they're already doing a good job, and maybe they're not in the market for it, but they're like, oh yeah, I'll do that. So it's much easier to sell to your customers that you already have in the slow times, and then sell to get new customers in the busy time.
That's a great point, because that was one of my points that I put on there, is follow up with businesses who have received your flyer and you've done work for in the past. And that's a great point of, you know, we spend a lot of money to try to get a new customer, but we don't spend any money to retain customers. And I want to hit on that a little bit, because you are in that business of, you know, how much does it cost people to get a new customer versus how much does it cost to keep a customer? And a lot of times we don't put no money in keeping a customer. And that's the dumbest thing ever, because we could probably, you know, most times, and people might say I'm crazy, but you're going to spend anywhere from, you know, $50 to $200 per customer is what you're going to end up spending for customers, depending on how big your tickets are and all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, how much, if we're willing to spend $50 to $200 to get a new customer, how much would it cost us to keep a customer? And what are some things that we can do to try to keep customers?
Yeah, one of our tools inside of Syngym is called a Ringless voicemail. It is insanely powerful. Jason and I have a colleague named Megan. She has a cleaning business in California. She just sent a video. I think I shared it. I don't know if Jason saw it, but she just sent a video like a week ago. They emailed their 1,400 customers, not emailed, they sent a voicemail to them, a voicemail that sounds like this. Hey, this is Megan with Jeff Likes Window Cleaning. I just want to let you know, We're having a special right now. We're looking at some good weather days, and we just have a few spots left in our schedule. If you're interested in getting a good deal and having your windows clean or pressure washing done in the next, 14 days, give me a call back. So she sent this to 1,400 people. I think it cost, what is that? Like $500. She booked $22,000 in work with one voicemail.
And that
So
goes back to I don't usually go this route, but that goes back to having a CRM, keeping all that information so that way we can be able to grow a business. And you're asking, I'll answer your question there, but I wanted to throw this up here because a lot of people, this is called keeping that thing. We can do, I think you can do text blast too, can't you? Are you capable of doing text blast also?
our system does not, but there are systems out there that can, yeah.
But we can do a text bomb, we can do a voice bomb, we can email them, and we're touching them 3 different ways. And this isn't something that we're just going to do, once every 3 or 4 years. This is something we want to do in the spring, early spring, so that way we can get our calendar start booking up. We want to do it in early fall because that way we can keep in touch. Now, when we're doing voice bombs and text messages, obviously we don't want to do it every week because otherwise they're not going to want to do that. So they're going to not be happy with you. But those are some things. But for a CRM, you're looking at different price range. If you go to kingofpressurewash.com/resources or go to there, I got a link down here. I have 3 or 4 CRMs you can go check out. You're looking anywhere from, you can do a free from yard books all the way up to $250 for jobber. They all do a little bit different things, and some are integrated, some are not. Some will do text for you, some will do the voice bomb. There's a little bit of everything out there at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And next thing is, how important is it to have a good design flyer or a door hanger? Or not a door hanger, a postcard.
It's massively important. I mean, you're throwing your money away if you're not. Oh, that was crazy. I just saw you drink out of like an invisible glass. If you don't mind me sharing my screen again, I got this cool thing, and we can if anyone that goes to our website and reaches out, we can provide this to you because it's a little small. But basically what this does is like there's all these, this is the anatomy, what we call the anatomy of a perfect postcard. And you've got a bunch of different components here, right? Like you want to have a tagline, you want to have before and after imagery that looks good. You want to have an offer, you have your website, your logo, your phone number. Social proof is huge. Like how do we know that people like this company? So here's our reviews, and we could turn this back off. Well, let me show them just a couple cards.
One other thing I want to hit on there. Now, do we want to put like 10 services on there, or do we want to focus on 1 or 2 services?
Yeah, I'm big on just one service and like focus it on one service and then maybe put a few underneath there. But most businesses have a service that's the easiest to sell, right? So maybe that's maybe you do 5 services, but pressure washing is what 80% of people call for. You want to market that one that most people are calling for. And then when you're on site, have a process to introduce them to the other ones. And here's some cards that follow that, right? And you see the offer, you see imagery that's personalizing it, you see imagery here, you see the before and after.
So what you're saying is even on that imagery, that could be the neighborhood of, if you're in that neighborhood of that subdivision, so that way they know that it's their subdivision.
Yeah, they know that you work there. But to answer your question, it's really important. If you're going to make the investment in doing mail, don't stop short and do it yourself. We're not professional designers. This isn't a DIY thing. Like have someone really design something that looks nice. Because if you're targeting, if you're targeting the mail routes that are $40,000 income, that's different. If your prices are low prices, you're the lowest person. You got the Home Depot pressure washer and no uniforms and no, you're wheeling it out of your minivan. Like that's totally different. You're going to be serving a different market. But if you're like Jason, what he's saying, and you're going to go to these $120,000 average income neighborhoods, they're going to want to see some professionalism, and they're okay paying a little bit more and paying that top dollar premium service. But you got to look the part from the beginning to end, including your postcard.
I agree 100% because that, if your postcard looks janky, it's probably not going to do very well, and you're not going to get into where you need to be at for the there. Do you know what the average return rate is for mail-in postcards?
Like postcards that get returned to you as undeliverable.
Well, yeah, we can go down that route too.
What was the? I want to answer your question.
My question is what is a good response rate if we send out 10,000 email or 10,000 postcards? How many phone
Yeah.
calls should that generate over time?
You should get if you're hitting them multiple times, you should generate about a 4% response rate. So, and you have a nice design, etc. Even 2%, like 4% is pretty good in my opinion, but even 2%. So if you sending out 1,000, you should get, you know, 10 to 20 calls is my guess.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
out of 1,000, you're getting 10 to 20 calls. If you've got a
Yeah,
50% close rate with an average ticket of 500-600 bucks, that's what you're kind of looking at.
exactly. Yeah, I think those are good numbers.
Trisha wants to know. We'll head down that route. What company is this gentleman from?
I am from we have a product called Syngym. That's SENDJIM.com. And you can sign up for as little as $2.99 a month. And if you want, Jason, I can run through some slides really fast just about what the company does.
Go for it.
All right, let's do this real quick. So, what is Syngym? We have marketing automation that really increases your customer lifetime value. So, it helps you market to your customers by doing things like sending letters, gifts, the ringless voicemail, like we talked about, every door direct mail, postcards, handwritten cards, all kinds of things. And we can automate that with your CRM. So, if you have a CRM like a Job or Customer Factor, I don't know what other ones Jason's recommending, but we integrate with most of them to where, hey, whenever I close an invoice, our system can actually send to the neighbors. So we can do those 5 rounds automatically and enter the neighbors of your customer into a 5 round sequence. So they'll send, a series of 3 postcards for the next 3 months to the 5 closest neighbors of your customer. So we do that, and then we help with customer acquisition through every door direct mail, and like I said, those 5 rounds. Let's see, I'll go on real quick. Just here, we do some quote follow up. If you're higher ticket, probably not for this type of business, but you'll see handwritten cards. We can do thank you cards. We can do appointment reminders with postcards. Again, this can all be set up automated. So if your CRM, if you do a job and then you want to send them a postcard in 6 months, we can automate that. So automatically 6 months after that job's complete, this card's going out. We can do, like I said, the neighbor mailings, 5 rounds automatically. We can do the every door direct mail where we're sending more high volume mail, but for a lower price. So talking about 1,000 cards is the minimum order with that. But that's what we do. Our company is called Syngym. I'll send it back to the top here so that you can see that. And if you just go to syngym right there.com or .io, either of those websites, you'll see about us.
So let's talk about somebody was asking about EDDM. If you can do this yourself, you can
Yep.
go get a card design. You do have to make sure they're bundled in 50 or hundreds, and you got to take them to the post office, and you got to deal with that. And it takes a lot of time. This isn't something that you're just going to
Yeah.
happily do this really quickly. It takes a lot of time. And you might be, I remember we was driving to 3 and 4 different post offices dealing with 3 and 4 different yahoos. And so when I'm talking about these yahoos that I talked about before, I'm not just joking. They were at every single one. I think there was one out of the 4 post office that knew what we were talking about and actually helped us and not be a pain in the butt. And so that is something that you can do. It depends on how many you're going to ship out. If you ship out 1,000 a year, obviously you're going to get a lot better price. If you send out 10,000, you're probably going to be at about the highest price. And it's going to be, I don't know if it's went up, but when I did it, it's anywhere from about 27 to 30 cents per postcard if you do it yourself. It does take a lot of work. It is time consuming. It is a pain in the butt. And that was, I don't think it's went up much more than that. If you're going to do a couple 100,000, obviously I think you can get it down a little bit less than that, but not much, because it is, you're doing a lot more bulk. So that is the do-it-yourself side of things. It's a pain in the butt. Usually that's why I only did one time around versus the 3 or 4, because it would take me a day to make sure everything was separated out. You got to make sure that you got to print off the sheet that says you need 521. You got to put it in its own little basket, and you got to carry this basket into there and drop it off. And if you got 2 or 3 routes in that same spot, then you got 2 or 3 baskets that you got to do. And this is a pain in the neck. I don't know if you've ever done it, Daniel, but I know I've done it. And if I had to do it again, I wouldn't do it again.
I'm telling you, man, they scared me off. I never did it on my own. I do it through Syngym, but I've never done it on my own because I was just like, everything you're describing. That's why I'm laughing, because it was literally me to a T. I'm just like, I can't do this. Like, I just walked out of there.
And so that is what every door direct mail is, and it is something that is a pain, but it does work. I know people that have had very successful business that did nothing but send EDDM. They knew when to send it. They knew what days to send it. They knew how many times they send it. There was a window cleaner up in New Jersey that, he is the king of mailers. Back in the day before he sold his business, and that he knew everything. He knew how many he had to send, and he had it down to a science of getting to the top. Making sure that it was going to give him the highest ROI. So it can work, but it is something that takes work, and it can be done. I had Jonathan on here a couple weeks ago, and he sends about 100,000 cards a year. So it works for him, and it brings in probably about $400,000 to $500,000 worth of work sending out 100,000 cards. So it is worth it at the end of the day. It does take work, and it is time consuming, but it does work.
Yeah. And the beauty of it, if you want to flip back to the slides, I'll show you one more slide and then I'm done with my slides. But basically, we can take all that work out of it for you. And I'm going to see if I can zoom in on this slide and talk to you about price and about what I mean about taking that work for you. So benefits of doing this through Syngym. So I'm going to walk you through the process just verbally here. We'll have a designer. We can hire a designer for our cost. She'll create an editable design for you so that you can always change the copy, what the card says, the offer, etc. We'll print it for you. We'll bundle it for you. We deliver it to your post office that you need to go to for you. You can schedule every mail drop up to a year's worth of mailings all at one time. And you can resend mailings if you wanted to, like you missed one or you just wanted to try it 3 times, but it worked, so you want to do it a 4th. You can redo that with just a few clicks. You can legitimately set up your entire Every Door Direct mailing campaign for the whole year in a few minutes. The technology is insane. And if you're going to do Every Door Direct mail, you can do it yourself, but I'm just telling you from my experience, I would not attempt it. So you can do all this with Syngym. Again, it costs $2.99 a month to sign up. And then that's $2.99 a month to sign up. And then here's our postcard rates. So you'll see, like what Jason said, I think it's roughly in the mid-20s to mid-30s if you're doing it on your own now, just depending on what services you're getting and how many cards you're buying at once. But if you want to send 1,000 to 2,500 cards, you're down in that real high price range, 65 cents. If you get up to the 10,000 cards, you're going to be down to the 44 cents. So a significant savings just with that. All the way up to, you can get it down to 38 cents. And again, this is full service. You never see the cards. You never have to do anything really, except for just tell us you want to send them and approve your design. So that's there. I'd be more than happy to show a demo of that real quick inside of our platform, Jason, but I want to go where you want to go. I want to answer everyone's questions.
I don't have no questions going yet. But I want to hit on one thing. A lot of times when the route would say 555, 560, usually it was more like 575. We had them pre-bundled at 75 or at 50 at each one because it would just make things a lot easier. So we would just give them 600 cards. So that's going to bump my cost up a little bit versus they're only going to send how many cards that are going out to that customers, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we'll send the exact number of cards because we have a machine counting them, as opposed to just, yeah, like Jason said, you're rounding up or down, and there's waste there.
Yep. And so, what are some benefits that you see by using you all as to get started doing EDDM?
Yeah, I mean, it just allows you to not have to worry about all the rules, not have to go find a printer, not find a designer. Our designer knows exactly this, that she only designs for this industry. She works for us full time. All she does is make postcards. So you're starting with a wealth of knowledge about what should be on your card and how it should look, instead of having to, waste time and money figuring that out. And then on top of all that, there's no driving to the post office. There's no waiting in line. There's no counting cards. Like, literally, people I've heard have done themselves, like Jason said, spend a whole night, or they'll spend like weeks with their family, like hundreds of thousands of cards, just counting stacks. And it's a family business, like, legitimately, and they're all in it. And so we can just do all of that for you and save you a ton of time. And again, people don't market when they're busy because they don't have time to do this. So if you want to keep marketing while you're busy, let us do this and pay a few more cents a card and know that it's going out, and not worry about that.
Yep, I agree. What are some, so how many, so I know you're looking for some bigger companies, and have you found a couple that do, that are going to use for case studies, correct?
Yeah, so we're looking for some companies that want to do a case study in pressure washing. We'll do the design. We're looking for like one or two. So if you're interested, you'll want to reach out to us on our website. Say, I saw you on YouTube with Jason, and we'll get you hooked up. But basically, we'll give you a free design, and we'll even send them at cost, which is going to be, probably 7 to 8 cents lower than what you see posted here, just, being upfront. And you were looking for someone that's going to send at least 5,000 per month for 3 months, so 15,000 total over 3 months. And we're going to give you a call tracking number for free. We're going to, set up your mailings with you, Zoom sharing. We're going to do everything with you to make sure you get the best results possible. And we're going to see how many leads come in, and we're going to take that data and create a publicized case study. And we're going to share that with our community of users to say, hey, here's what other pressure washers are getting from EDDM.
I do have somebody for you that might be a good match for that. So
Perfect. Yeah. Shoot them my info. But yeah, even if you're not interested in the case study, or you want to test it out at 1,000 or 2,000, go to our website. And what you'll want to do is just start a chat there. Say, hey, Jason sent me. And we don't have this available today, but in about 2 weeks or so, we're going to have a coupon code. And if you tell us you came from Jason, we're going to have a special code that's going to get you 5% off. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but in EDDM, when the margin is very, very small, yeah, you'll get a 5% discount forever on your EDDM orders. So Jason and I discussed that earlier, and that's something we're going to do for his listeners. We want you guys to experience, or try this if you want it.
So if you have any questions about EDDM, or we didn't answer all of them, put them down in the chat real quick. And that way, before we jump off here, we got about 5-10 minutes before we jump off here. If you have anything that, I think we pretty much hit everything on EDDM. EDDM isn't that hard in sounding in person, but it's a lot harder of trying to get it all done when you're trying to do it. Like I say, you got to get somebody to design a good card. You got to order them. Then they all come in, and you got, 5,000 cards sitting in your living room. And then you got to go to the post office, and, it is a lot of steps. Oh, I forgot. You got to go and print off the paper and put on each stack. So each stack has to have its own paper in there. And so if you got I forgot about this step. If you got 500, that means there's 100 bundles, 5 bundles. So each bundle of 100 has to have its own paper in there with the route information that goes with one of 5. And if they don't, they just send you back home. And that's what happens. So,
and on top of that, going back to even the design part is like what they call the indicia, where you put the address, and you have like an EDDM mail permit you have to print there, has to be the right size and the right font. And like, I mean, I couldn't even make sense of all the rules when I was reading them.
It is a pain. And I know that I know this works, and I've seen people have great success with it, even in the pressure washing business. And I've seen it with other businesses, with the pressure washing businesses that have had success. It's just one of those things that it's like anything. You got to be consistent, prolific, and relentless. If you're not consistent with this, there isn't no use to even trying it. If you're only going to do it one time and say that don't work, don't try it at all, because it's not going to work. If you're only going to willing to ship this out to one shipping of 1,000, I mean, I'm not even trying to be bad about it. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's not going to work. You may not even get a call off of it. You got to send it 3 times, and it's got to be pretty consistent of sending it. And then when you get to that 3rd time, it will start bringing in money like no other.
Yeah. Mail is not for the faint of heart. And Jason, will you be posting this in your resources section with that code once we have that for you?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Jason Hefner, I don't know if you know him or not. He says, I want to do a case study on Syngym brownies. They're awesome.
Thanks, Jason. We appreciate it, man. We send a lot of brownies out.
But it is definitely something that, like I say, it is something you got to be consistent with over and over and over. And if you're consistent, and it don't have to be the same card. I know that I was talking with Jonathan, and he usually does something a little bit different. Maybe around the holidays, he'll send, the Christmas light cards. In the spring, it's spring cleaning. In the fall, it's fall cleaning. And it is that consistency of making sure that people get it. And, if you really want to get good at what works and what don't work, not every card's going to get work. And so that's where you can do some A/B testing and see, does this one work, or does this one work better, or does that one work better? And where they have all of that going out, and they're going to keep all that data of that phones and stuff, they're going to be able to know what kind of card works better than the other card at the end of the day. So
yeah.
Do we have the ideal, and your team comes up with the design for us?
Yeah, if you have an idea, what will happen is you'll fill out a form, and it has a bunch of questions on it, and our team can take that and create everything for you if you want. If you have your own ideas, our designer will take those and make them reality.
Awesome. So, Daniel, I'm always big on learning more stuff and doing that. And I'm always talking about books of what books that I like to read that will help me grow in business. Is there any book that you like that was like an aha moment of growing your businesses?
Oh, great question. Depends on where you're at in your business, but one that I really go back to, I should read it again, is well, there's 2, but the one I'll say is Extreme Ownership. I don't know if you guys have talked about that one on here before, but when it comes down to it, like, you're a business owner, everything's your fault. It's yours. You make it happen. And if not, there's a really good chance it's your fault. So with the marketing, you can't send one and say, hey, this didn't work. EDDM doesn't work, or door knocking doesn't work. Well, that's just not true. There's people that are successful that do it. So you're doing something wrong. Take ownership of that. And it really helped me with my business when you get into employees, and you can't say, hey, there's no good people to hire out there, or my employees suck. That really helped me when I started looking internally. I'm like, man, like, really, like, I do impact a lot of this, if not all of it. And so I highly encourage you to read that. It's a cool book because it's not just business based. It's written by a Navy SEAL. He shares stories with every example, but it was pretty eye-opening.
You're ready to fight when you're done reading that book.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a cool one. Also, there's one called The Go Giver. Really just the whole concept is you got to keep giving and add value to other people. If you always look about how you can help other people, look at Jason. That's all he's been doing is helping other people. Now he's got a business out of it. But it's a great book as well. Super small, easy read.
I haven't read that one, but I've heard that, and I've heard I need to read it. So
Yeah,
I keep
it's
forgetting
good.
about it.
So
Awesome. So, what is some words of encouragement for a business owner trying to grow their business?
oh man, I would start with just you can do it. There's I'm not even exaggerating. There are thousands of people that have done this before you, and there's at least 1,000 of them that have done it before you that aren't as smart as you, that don't work as hard as you. They didn't have Jason to help them. They didn't have YouTube when they did it. As long as you don't quit, you will be successful. Just don't give up. There's going to be days. There's days where I want to quit, and I've been doing this for a long time. There's days where you're stressed out and you think, hey, this is just too much or it's not worth it. If you don't quit, you don't lose. All right. So just keep in that mindset, go to sleep and start the next day with a good attitude and just don't quit. I mean, if you keep showing up, your business is going to get better and you're going to get better and it's going to grow by just nature of continuing to come back.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to hit this question here because this is awesome. Jason, off topic. This is an awesome win. This is awesome. High five.
Yeah.
Off topic for tonight, I picked up my first customer for $1,630. That's pretty awesome right there.
Yeah.
I remember my first job over $1,000. I was like, "There's people are willing to give me over $1,000. That's pretty
I know. Isn't that
amazing."
crazy?
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel, for coming on again. If you all are looking for in-person training, go check out kingofpressurewash.com/in-person training. There I go over everything hands-on. It is hands-on course. I'm having one coming up with Donovan up in Raleigh, North Carolina. It is a 2-day course. I also have Christmas Lights 101 that same weekend, so you can take all three, a whole business for the whole year. If you have done Christmas lights and you want to take the advanced class, we're having a landscape lighting with Ryan Lee. And we're having an advanced landscape or advanced Christmas light class that next weekend. So go check that out. Also, you can go check out kingofpressurewash.com/free. Get a 30 days free into the membership where we talk about how to grow your business and everything that you need to do. And every Monday we have a marketing Zoom call, and there's 25 to 30 great business owners, some that are just starting, some that are at $500,000. And so it is definitely something you might want to go check out. pressurewashhelp.com/free. Hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you all later. Hang on, Daniel.